Hello, my name is Naomi Williams, my candidate number is 4388027, and this is my presentation for IB Film Studies Standard Level. Today I will be discussing the 1955 thriller film The Night of the Hunter, directed by Charles Laughton. The key themes in this film are crime, family and love, and it presents the binary opposition good versus evil, shown through the character of Harry Powell, who's shown to have a split personality through his love-hate tattoo, and the character of Rachel, who's shown to be a good character. It follows a linear narrative and conforms to Tzvetan Todorov's equilibrium theory, as the children's safety is interrupted by the introduction of Harry, and then returned to them as Harry's arrested. It conforms to film noir thriller as it follows a black and white style with stark lighting effects, and the main character is usually a cynical hero, which if you consider a hero to be someone who's seeking something, then Harry clearly fits this frame. However, it doesn't follow a narrative voice and it doesn't use flashbacks. It's set in Depression-era West Virginia and based on a Davis Grubb novel, whose mum witnessed the hardships of this era. The director's intentions of this is to show you the breakup of families at this time was not unusual, as over 200,000 vagrant children wandered the country during this time. And he also wanted to show that the Depression era brought out both the good and bad in people, shown through the character of Harry and the character of Rachel. It was produced by independent film studio United Artists, and it was the only film that Laughton directed. This was largely because initially it failed both commercially and critically. As argued by David Gritton in the Telegraph, this was because 50s America was a very prosperous, expansionist country, hugely optimistic about its future, and it didn't want to be reminded of the poverty and the dark side of humanity that came out as a result of the Depression era. It also uses black and white, which was almost seen as going back in time, as colour had been around for many years. However, more recently, it's gained much more success, and it's appeared in the top 10 in the BFI list of 50 films you should see before the age of 14. For the purposes of this presentation, I will be performing a textual analysis on the extract from The Night of the Hunter, beginning approximately 1 hour 17 minutes 20 seconds with the zoom from Rachel standing guard to Harry singing his trademark song By the Fence Outside, and ending approximately 5 minutes later as Harry's arrested. I chose this film because it shows the combination between the strong narrative and the great use of film techniques to give a thrilling yet heartwarming feature, which I found really enjoyable to watch. And I chose this extract because it's a turning point in the film. It shows the heightened danger, where John gives into the pressure, Harry is arrested, and the children's safety is returned to them. Editor Robert Golden gives Mrs. Cooper the largest screen time in this clip, really showing that she's the one in charge, and it gives her a heightened importance. He uses a long take showing the singing between Harry and Rachel, showing them both singing, standing ground, and the length of this shot really shows their determination. However, he also uses fast cuts, for example, between the owl and the rabbit, to show the brutality of the attack. However, he also uses them between Rachel and children to show she's constantly checking up on them, trying to protect them. And it shows that, like the rabbit, they're very vulnerable and they're under attack. They need protecting. He also uses a fade from when Rachel says it's a hard world for little things to the children all stood together under Rachel's protection. And this fade signifies the time passing and the mental thoughts of Rachel at the time, as she's clearly thinking of the children as she's saying this. This clip uses a heavy use of diegetic sound, and this almost gives it a more realistic, horrific approach, making it more dangerous and giving it more suspense. The style of singing also changes in this clip, as it was previously only sung by Harry, with his dark voice, a deep voice giving a very chilling tone, parallel to the suspense and danger. However, Mrs. Cooper's comforting voice softens this and makes it less threatening. The dialogue used shows character, and Mrs. Cooper's given the most dialogue in this clip, showing her dominance, and the words she says are very insightful and wise, very literary, and she also quotes Bible stories and introduces the word Jesus into the song, really showing her religious side. However, Harry is a contrast to this, as he says very little, and this shows how the power has really changed from Harry to Rachel. What he does say is figured I was gone, eh? And that shows how he thinks he's got control. However, it almost mocks him, as we know that Rachel's the one that has the control. He also uses high volume, fast dialogue at the point of danger. So when Rachel's threatening Harry, and this is quickly followed by the off-screen diegetic sound of the gunshot, followed quickly by Harry's screaming. And this shows how everything's really rapid and really gives more suspense and danger and excitement. However, she uses a low volume and a slow dialogue when addressing the children, showing her caring side and how she can manipulate her character to be caring and to be strong and protecting. The lighting's also used to create character. The children are almost always shot with lit faces, showing their innocence. However, Harry is shot often with shadows over his face, with low-key side lights. And this hides his face, showing good and evil. Side lighting is also used between the owl, and this shows the significance between Harry and the owl, and almost adds more suspense as we worry that what happened to the rabbit will happen to the children. However, Rachel's shot with a halo of light, showing that she's very angelic and she's the protector in this scene. He also uses a mid-long shot where Rachel is backlit, sitting down, her gun is lit, pointing towards Harry. Harry is side-lit outside, and Ruby comes in with a candle. This candlelight conceals the window and the view we have of Harry, and when it fades, Harry is gone. And this is really effective in adding the suspense and shows how the lighting can be used to manipulate the scene rather than screen cuts and changes. The setting's also effective as it shows the Depression era, as there's a minimalist decor, and it's very clean, showing that the character of Rachel is poor yet proud. The relationship between Rachel and the children is shown through the close proximity she has with them. For example, when pacing back and forward, the children's heads follow her, almost looking for guidance. And the only time really we see John smile in this clip is when the police are called on Harry, and this shows how he's given this idea of hope. However, this is taken away from him as Harry's arrested, as he's reminded of when his dad was leaving, and we see his immense pain. Costume is used to show Harry to be very formal, almost preacher-like, and this shows how Harry wants to manipulate people and try to evoke trust in people. Stanley Cortez, towards the start of this clip, shows Harry to be very small, as he has a large proximity both to the camera and the audience and to the house. However, later on, Harry looks much larger, as he has a closer proximity to the camera, and he looks much closer to the house, as a side angle is used, and the close shot makes him appear closer. And this almost suggests that he's moving closer towards the house, and signifies his big move towards the house. Movement within a frame is also used, as we see a shot behind Harry looking at the house. However, Ruby walks past, and this adds tension as this innocent character is entering the shot of the hunter, and we worry what's going to happen. Is he going to attack? Frame within a frame is also used, for example, with the police car windscreen, and this is parallel to a shot at the start when the father is arrested. This is an example of familiar image, and it foreshadows John's breakdown. The closest shot in this film is the selected focus on John, showing his reaction to the police and his immense pain, and how he remembers how it all started, and almost how he needs to let go to move on. In conclusion, The Night of the Hunter is significant as a document of its time. It evokes powerful emotion in the audience, and its film techniques work well to provide this thrilling adventure. And it's a shame that Lawton didn't direct another film, as his vision and almost German expressionist use of shadows could have transformed film and influenced